Andy Griffith portrayed the perfect father on the Andy Griffith Show. In Mayberry, his family was always the center of his attention, and he always had control of it. That's not so much in his real life. Let's take a look at that. Andy Griffith married Barbara Bray Edwards in 1949, and they adopted 2 children. They adopted a boy that was named Andy Samuel, and they had a girl named Dixie. Andy's boy was quite the handful. As his own admission, he was trouble from the start. He felt like he was the black sheep of the family. He compared himself to Ron Howard or Opie, which I'm sure was a hard thing to do, as everybody perceived that his childhood should have been like Opie's was, but it wasn't. He got into drugs, got into alcohol, and got into trouble. He felt like Andy didn't love him because he wasn't the TV son like Opie, the lovable character of Ron Howard. Andy just couldn't understand Sam as time went along, and his son just kept getting in and out of trouble. And at the end, Andy finally threw up his hands. It seems that for a while, Andy, and I think also the sister Dixie, tried to help Andy Jr. By paying for rehab, and I think they did that a couple of times, and to no avail. And his life just continued to spiral out of control. I think at the very end, he was actually living with somebody. I don't think he had his own place. Now, he was a real estate developer by profession, and he just struggled with alcohol his entire life. And Andy just really had a problem with that. Andy found it hard to take and found it quite upsetting to him. In 1992, he was arrested in North Hollywood for charges that he beat his wife, causing her to have a miscarriage. Now, she evidently suffered a broken finger and did have a miscarriage during this time. But there's also some debate about, she's not the perfect one to accuse him, because she had some faults of her own, and it's thought that maybe some of the things she said were somewhat embellished or made up. But anyway, he was actually held on $100,000 bond in the North Hollywood jail. Now, he did plead no contest to these charges. The charges were lessened somewhat, and he was actually given 3 years unsupervised probation. Shortly after his release from jail, he was busted for driving under the influence, drug possession, shoplifting, and another assault charge, something to do with firing a gun. I think towards the end, he was just full of remorse and just totally upset with himself as to the way his life had turned out and the crimes that he had committed. It's said that he actually admitted that he had pushed his dad so far away that it went past the point of no return. Now, Andy was super protective of his 2 kids. He, if you look, you can find virtually no pictures of the son. There's one that I'm going to include, but they just don't exist. There are a few of the daughter Dixie, but they're pictures of her being older. I've also read where Dixie even stated that she never set foot on the sound stages or anywhere that the Andy Griffith Show was being recorded. which I find a little bit odd. But I'm assuming Andy did that to protect his kids and to isolate them from the world he was in. In Sam's eyes, it was like Andy was ashamed of his own son, and he kind of cushioned the pain with substance abuse. Shortly before Sam died, he intended to reach out to Andy and actually wrote him a note that was never delivered. And he stated that, "Please, Dad, give me one more chance. I'm your son. I want to be your friend." But the letter went unsent. Sam was found slumped over a desk in his Hollywood home. He was dead at the age of 38. I find it odd that Andy didn't attend the funeral. Maybe there's certain circumstances that, because Andy was having some health problems at the time, but I would imagine that almost any parent would attend the funeral of their child. And I don't know what the deal was with that. Maybe he had just gotten to the point to where he didn't look at him as his child anymore. But Andy Griffith died in 2012, and their broken relationship was never healed. They're buried thousands of miles apart. Andy Samuel Griffith Jr. is buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park. Thank you so much for watching.